Recording in progress.
All right. So welcome, everyone. Good to have you here. I'm Maggie Schwinski from the Active Transportation Alliance. I think there's some new faces here, which is great. My co-host, Dave Simmons from Ride, Illinois. So let's get started today, as we always do, just doing quick introductions. So say your name, where you're from, and then choose a person to pass it on to. And so I'll start. I'm Maggie Schwinski from the Active Transportation Alliance. I live in Chicago, and I will pass it to Elliot.
Oh, you made my day, I'm Elliot Rosson from Highland Park. I'm on the board of Active Transportation Alliance and involved in lots of things pedestrian and cycling in Highland Park and Lake County. And I'll pass it to Luke.
Yeah, Luke Borsman with the Village of Mount Prospect. I'm a project engineer for the village. Let's go to Alan.
Hi, I'm Alan Leishman. I'm in the west suburbs in Villa Park, and I'm on the bike pedestrian transit subcommittee we have there. How about Kathy Frampton?
Hello, Kathy Frampton. I'm out in LaGrange. I'm not on any particular organization, just coming off of having, I'm going to go back a few years, but I used to race, had an organization that I had set up through that effort. And now I'm recently retired and just looking to see how else I might get involved.
But of course, it's not set up yet.
Great. Well, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Would you like to pass it to someone else?
Sure. I'm not sure all who got, but let's pass it to Ben.
Hi, Ben Harris with the Skokie Bicycle Network. And I'm also helping Ride Illinois, who's coordinating with or working in partnership with the Cook County Forest Preserves to do events in the Forest Preserves second year. So first year was pilot. I'm passing it to Tom.
I'm Tom Armstrong. I'm on the board of Elgin Community Bikes, and I chair the Elgin Sustainability Commission. We've got a RFP out now for a climate action plan in Elgin, and probably within the next month we'll have one out for an active mobility plan. So I'll pass along to Mikey.
Thanks, Tom. Mikey Swire here from Streamwood. I'm working with the Streamwood Park District to do some rides. Also active member with Bike Peloton Club, for the Cycling Elk Grove, and a rat. And I'll pass it on to the other Tom.
Hi, Tom Lucas here from Bike Peloton. Yes, Mikey and I are push the efforts up in the northwest suburbs out here, along with Dave, who's right next door to us. So how about I'll pass it to Helen Miller.
Hi, I'm Helen Miller, the planner with the City of Joliet, interested in this type of stuff. And Danielle hasn't gone.
My name's Danielle. I am with the Village of Sugar Grove, and I'm the Planning and Zoning Administrator. And I will pass it to Walter.
I'm Walter Magziers. I'm the Community Development Director in Sugar Grove. And I'll pass it to, how about David?
Yes, hi, David Landeweer with Terra Engineering, a designer of many trails and former board member of Illinois Trails Conservancy and former board member of Ride, Illinois. Now I'll pass it to Dave.
Threw me off, and I've already had one conversation with too many Daves, so this will be the second one. So Dave Simmons, Executive Director of Ride Illinois, live in Elk Grove Village, and I'm going to pass it off to Parker.
Parker Thompson. I'm the Executive Director of Elgin Community Bikes out here in Elgin. And I'm not sure I've got an inventory of who is
Yeah,
gone.
I can help you out, Parker. Yeah, I might have to help people out at this point. There's a longer list than normal. So how about Army?
I'm Armelie Moretti. I live in Elmhurst. I'm part of the Elmhurst Bicycle Club. I'm also the vice chair of the city's bike pedestrian group. And I
Maggie?
was going to pass it off to Isabel.
I'm Isabel Guadarrama, one of the planners for the city of Waukegan.
Hi, Carl Lager in Oak Park, representing Bike Walk Oak Park.
See who else? My goodness, the list keeps growing. Steve Johnson.
Steve Johnson with the Friends of the East Branch DuPage River Trail, sitting here in my office in Carroll Stream.
Right, and let's see. Sam, did you go with Sam Green?
Hi there, Sam Green. I'm a city planner for the city of Waukegan, Illinois.
Right. And Lee. Lee Kaufman?
Hi. I'm a trust committee member for the Ecological Sustainability Committee in Westchester, Illinois, which is where I live.
Great. And who else? Agata?
Oh, hi everyone. I'm Agata Agata, senior analyst from CMF.
Right. Who else? Brian, did you go? I saw your name earlier.
No, we haven't. And sorry that we were unmuted. We are actually also at the CMAP offices right now, funnily enough, Agata. So hi from across the hall. Yeah.
Hi. Which room are you in?
We're in a lake on Superior, Ontario, Lake Superior, one of the lakes. I don't know. Home.
Okay.
But hi, Brian Larson and
Eric Chernotta from the Northwest Municipal Conference.
yeah, we are the planning liaisons for the Northern Cook County, but also we have member communities throughout Lake and DuPage and part of Keene as well.
Great. And I see Bevan.
Hi, everyone. I don't have a formal role, but I've helped to lead up the Evanston-Kittical mass rides over the last year. So I hope it's appropriate for me to be on, but thrilled to be joining the group.
Yes, you do not need to be, have any type of official role to be on this call. So thank you for being here. Let's see here. How about Andrew? You're muted if you're trying to talk. All right, well, we'll try someone else. We'll come back to you. How about Elizabeth?
Yeah, hi everybody. Tuning in here from the south suburb of Oak Forest. And I think we just want a little bit about myself. I am going to be working, I think, with Active Trans again this year to coordinate the Chicago Rite of Silence coming up in 3 short months here. So as Ride Illinois pointed out, Illinois has its first fatality of the year. So never happy to hear about that one, but ready to do what we got to do.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Let's see, how about Ryan Peterson?
Ryan Peterson, senior transportation planner for Epstein, working on a couple bike plans throughout the region and Chicago resident.
Okay, and Nicole?
Hello, I'm Nicole Vall. I'm the Health and Science Program Manager for the Illinois Medical District, which is in Chicago, and I just help lead a development of our Bike and Pedestrian Safety Action Plan.
Great. Let's see, I see Terry Witt. Terry, are you?
Terry Witt.
Oh, there you are.
Director of Advocacy at Spin Doctor Cycle Works, a gold bicycle-friendly business in the village of Bartlett, a recently honored full mention bicycle-friendly community. And I enjoy sharing posts on trails linking communities and Bike Walk Bartlett.
Great. And then Taufik, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Are you there? We can't hear you. All right. Anyone else who didn't get a chance to introduce themselves? Feel free to share. Sorry if I missed your name. The names keep like switching for me and I'm losing track. Oh, there's Kevin. Hi.
Hi, I joined late, but I am Kevin Quinn. I'm the new village planner for the village of Bensonville. Taking over from Nick, so I'm just happy to be here.
Great. Well, welcome. Oh, and John.
Yep. Hi, I'm John Zach. No specific role, but I use the Des Plaines River Trail a lot for running, biking, and also a member of the Oak Park Runners who use the trail a lot too. So just curious what the happenings are on that.
Great. Oh, Robert, Bob. Can't hear you yet.
Bob Wagner, resident of Villa Park, member of the Bike, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee, and also an LCI.
Super. Did we get everyone? Oh, I see Andrew in the chat. It's from Village of Bartlett. All right, well, thank you everyone. Welcome. And again, you don't need to have a specific role to be here. We're just people that from around the region that care about walking and biking and wanted to like bring you all together to connect. So the way we normally organize these meetings, Dave starts with some transportation updates from Ride Illinois, and then I'll share some Active Transportation Alliance updates. And then we open up the floor to all of you to, if you have anything you want to share with the group, any questions you want to ask, and like we're here to problem solve, brainstorm together. So with that, and make sure to keep yourself muted if you're not speaking. But with that, I'll turn it over to Dave.
All right, thank you, Maggie. Good to see everybody. New faces as well. That's always a good sign. Not that I mind seeing the old faces. But yeah, enjoy these meetings because we do get to share a bit of an update. Some of this information folks are going to be aware of. If you're not familiar with Ride Illinois, we're the statewide bike advocacy org working to make Illinois better through biking. So I just have a few bullet points, and Maggie's always so good to send a follow-up email. So Maggie, I will share this with you after the meeting, so you'll be able to, everyone can reference these. So just a kind of a smattering of updates here. For the last few months, we've been in touch with the Illinois Secretary of State, finally have a little bit of traction there as far as initiatives related to bike ped safety, motorist education. They're very much a governmental organization, so they move in at sometimes a snail's pace, but they are looking to revamp the motorist education, the driver's test, if you will. They've got a few other initiatives related, like kind of non-committal, but it feels like progress. I know we're all advocates and it takes patience and persistence, but it feels like progress with the secretary. Also focused on a few laws that we've not yet seen introduced, but again, focused on safety. So I don't want to get into specifics only because I don't want to get folks hope up, but just know that there's some communication with the Secretary of State's office. And he himself has said that he's very supportive, and Maggie and other partners are on a call going back to last spring, but he says the right things. Now we need to hold him to account. A few updates on education. So we've been chatting with the State Board of Education, or ISB, about Safe Bike Walk curriculum. Again, an organization that has a lot on their plate, but they intend to establish, and I'm reading from the latest email, a skill development continuum for schools to use to teach safe bike ped safety in grades K to 8. They're going to be developing a working group. Ride Illinois is requested to be part of that working group. It may be an opportunity for LCIs. So if folks aren't familiar with LCIs, it's a league cycling instructor, or folks who are teaching smart cycling classes. So waiting for more information. But again, it sounds positive. Don't want to get too excited. Definitely we'll share updates with this group. Through our Ride Illinois Safely program, we're working to get Elizabeth, who spoke just a few moments ago, certified as an LAB or League of American Bicyclists coach to teach seminars, basically train folks to become LCIs. And so we're hoping by this spring, she has checked all the boxes. And then our intention is to offer an LCI seminar, most likely in Normal this fall. That's what we're shooting for this year. So many LCIs on this call. If folks are interested in that program, they can email Dave at rideillinois.org. They can email Elizabeth. I don't know, I'm throwing your name out there. But we're trying to increase the number of LCIs around the state, and not just by number, but also by the number of active LCIs who are willing to teach classes to communities, to park districts, to scout groups, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, in order to, and I would say including a bicycle-friendly driver course. So we want to really boost the number of active folks that are involved in that program. All right, let's see, moving on here. We recently announced, we're calling it an initiative, but it's called Our Response to Fatal Crashes. So if you follow Ride Illinois on social media, you may have seen the other day that there has been the first fatality of the year. There were 176 bicyclist fatalities since 2018. So we have data provided by IDOT. We are beginning the process of researching those fatalities, looking at it from an advocate's perspective, not the perspective of a planner or engineer or a law enforcement. So I can't say we have a lot to proclaim that here's what we've learned from the research, but that has begun, and we will continue to track fatalities. We have a map on our website, which really brings these to folks' attention versus flying under the radar. According to IDOT, there was yet another fatality last year. They say that there have now been 42 fatalities, which is quite an increase of over 33 from last year. So we're trying to learn more about these fatalities and hopefully offer some opportunities for municipalities, counties, whoever might be, to reduce fatalities in the future. Let's see, legislatively, we've got a bill tracker for state and federal legislation. So this link will be shared. It's on the Ride Illinois website. Bills that we're familiar with or learning about that are related to biking and walking, because so much of what we do supports walking as well. So I'll share a link to that. And then we announced some legislative priorities for, I'm going to say 2024. It's probably going to end up being the next couple legislative sessions, but continue to forge ahead on an e-bike rebate incentive program. We're looking at that from a couple different angles. Active Trans is helping as one of the partners. Recognizing bicyclists as permitted and intended road users may be a tall task, but there have been some initial conversations with a couple legislators on basically undoing the Bogue v. Wayne decision, as well as the recent Olave versus City of Chicago decision. And then the third is making it easier for municipalities to reduce their speed limits. A bill passed in Minnesota last year. There's been one introduced in Michigan this year that basically will allow municipalities a smoother path towards reducing speed limits versus the current process of expensive and timely engineering studies and data collection and so forth. So we feel like there's a model that Illinois can lean on. But it is an election year, so a lot of what we're hearing is that there may not be a whole lot of activity, or certainly not the desire to bring on new programs that need to be funded. That's why this may be kind of a 2-year focus or more. And just wrapping up on a few events, Army and Elizabeth are on this call. They are the state coordinators for the National Bike Summit that's coming up in DC, March 19th, 21st. If anyone on the call is interested in going to that event, lobbying at Lobby Day with the House and Senate, you put that in the chat, or again, Dave at rideillinois.org, and connect you with Elizabeth and Army. We go to that every year and advocate for legislation and policies at the federal level. Let's see. We'll call this an announcement, Maggie, in a way. Many of you know that for many years, several years, many's probably too strong, but there's been an Illinois Bike Summit every other year. We've decided that we're going to expand the scope of that event. It's going to take place in April of next year, not this year. It's going to be in Springfield. It's going to be a bike, walk, healthy communities, kind of a combination of those topics. Just learned yesterday that actually Wisconsin is offering a similar event this year. So kind of, to me, it added even more reason to expand that scope and really bring in partners and folks from around the state who want to make their communities safer and more livable. So that'll be in April. Hoping to do a lobby day component with that as well, partnering again with Active Trans, IDNR, IDOT, APA Illinois, Equiticity, and others. And then the two last things I'll mention is we have a rolling opportunity for folks to join committees, right? Illinois standing committees. So if that's something you were interested in, the link will be shared, but your typical organizational committees we have board members on those committees, but we also would like to have we do have some member representation as well. So we'll share a link. You can learn more about that. And then our I Can Bike There campaign, even though it's February, people are still getting around by bike. So if you too are getting around by bike and want to share a photo of somewhere you went, they can't all be Terry Witt as much as we love getting Terry's photos. You can submit those. If you go to icanbikethere.org, there's a way to share those photos. And then we put them on social and share a little love that way. All right, so that's the brain dump. Information to come in Maggie's follow-up. I'm happy to answer questions, or Maggie, if you want to push them off to the end or to chat, that's fine too.
Yeah, no, thanks, Dave, that's a lot of great information. And again, we'll be sharing all of this afterwards, but yeah, if anyone does have a question, we'll make sure we'll call on you. But a few other updates from Active Trans. So one, in case you missed it last year, kind of last summer and fall, we had a trail webinar series, and it was about trails in the Northwest and South parts of our region, and we had various advocates or agencies speak about the trail projects, and I'll just make sure to send out those webinar recordings because they were really good, and I feel like I learned a lot about our trail system and what different individuals and groups are doing to try to build more trails in our region and improve our trails. So just wanted to highlight that. And then second, I sent an email out to our Google groups last week, but there are a lot of funding opportunities right now for walking and biking projects. So just wanted to alert you to that. It's a lot of funding opportunities for both municipalities as well as individual groups, like advocacy groups, nonprofits, even schools. So I'll be sure to include those links in that email, and please distribute those to anyone you think might benefit from those grant opportunities. And then I also wanted to make sure to highlight a new training program that we've started at Active Trans it's called our Street Team Advocacy Training. And I see a few of you who are on this call have gone through the training, but we're doing a 2-hour evening trainings. We've got a couple coming up in March. We had some in January and February, and it's essentially kind of getting you on board, making sure you're informed about our top campaigns that we're really focused on this year, and then how you can get directly involved. And those campaigns are Transit That Works. So it's all about it's about saving our transit system, which is facing a transit fiscal cliff next year, 2025, and we need to make sure transit is funded. So CTA, PACE, Metra could all be affected and face massive service cuts if we don't do something. So this training goes over that, as well as Safe Streets for All. So just thinking about and advocacy around how do we make sure our streets are safe for all road users, people walking, biking, rolling. So the next trainings are March 12th, and that's virtual, and March 25th, and that's in person at our office in downtown Chicago. So you're all very welcome to join. So the more the merrier, and love having Suburban representatives at those trainings. And then another thing I wanted to make sure to highlight, so I'm going to share my screen real quick. We just put this page together because I feel like this question comes up from time to time. Just, you know, I know in the suburbs sometimes maybe your elected officials, your staff, or your colleagues, or just your friends or family don't quite understand, like, why do our suburban communities also need to be investing in walking and biking? So we put together this page with just resources, fact sheets, presentation templates that just for you to use if you need it. So just wanted to highlight this. So a few years ago, we made a series of fact sheets on different topics. So economy, safety, health. So those are all linked here. AARP has some really great livability fact sheets on all sorts of topics: road diet, sidewalks, traffic calming, and like they have myth busting and good facts and figures. So I just wanted to make sure you're aware of these fact sheets. They're a great thing you can just pass out to maybe elected officials, staff. There are a handful of websites that have some good statistics that can help make the case. And then we have a couple PowerPoint presentations about just the benefits of walking and biking, as well as examples of different type of infrastructure that we've seen around the suburbs. So you're very welcome to download those presentations, edit them however you want, use them however you want. And then also there's a great resource from People for Bikes. They've done a lot of research and like, how do you talk about walking and biking that is in an effective way that gets people excited? And this is just it might even be a PowerPoint, some good talking points. And then below this are just several brief bullets about, there are so many different benefits to investing in walking and biking in your community. So it's just brief talking points for all of those many benefits. And I think, there's no one thing you can say to kind of change people's mind, but they're like different messages kind of resonate with different people. So just thinking about, who's your audience, and these are some examples of what you might share. So I will stop sharing my screen. So just wanted to make sure you're aware of that page, and I'll make sure to send that out in case it's helpful to you. And then finally, wanted to talk about the bills that Dave was talking about as well. So two of the bills, so I love Dave's The Ride Illinois bill tracker. That's super useful to just easily keep track of some of the bills that we're monitoring. And some of the bills that Active Trans is specifically focused on right now is there's a bill about transit, so making sure our transit system can continue running into the future, as well as greenhouse gas emissions from the transportation sector. So, and as Dave mentioned, because it's an election year, so March 19th, that's the date that after that date, we might see more movement in Springfield, and there will be more to discuss around all of these bills. But for now, yeah, we'll just keep you updated as we hopefully have more information in the next month or so. Oh, and then also there is a state lobby day that is planned for May 9th. So just wanted to flag that all for you. So May 9th is a Thursday, and this is being organized by the Illinois Coalition or Illinois Clean Jobs Coalition, ICJC, as well as the Illinois Environmental Council. And they do lobby days every year typically. And this year they're adding transportation to their platform, which is very exciting. So we've been involved in helping organize this lobby day, but it'll be virtual or in person. So once I think I have a link actually where you can actually sign up. So I'll try to jig that up and send it out. So if you're interested in getting involved in Springfield, and I've heard like people who actually go to lobby days. I haven't been to one. I don't know if any of you here have been, but actually would love to hear your stories if you've been to a state lobby day. But I've been to a federal lobby day with Ride Illinois, but the state lobby days, I've heard that it just really feels like, you know, you can make a difference. Like it's very empowering. So yeah, just excited to, we'll be, you know, advocating a lot in Springfield this year, and it will likely also be a multi-year process, as Dave mentioned. But that's all I have. So wanted to let anyone here from the group, if you have something you want to share, feel free to raise your hand. We can call on you. Or if you have any questions, and I see Brian, your hand's raised.
Thanks. So one thing we wanted to point out is that Mount Prospect is beginning its arterial bike network study, and they are going to be hosting an open house next Wednesday, the 21st, from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock at the Village Hall. So we encourage folks who are in the area, have maybe an interest in biking through Mount Prospect, have friends in Mount Prospect, to attend, get an idea of what Mount Prospect's going to be looking at. This looks like a great opportunity for the community to redesign or rework some of its existing arterials and provide additional amenities for cyclists and pedestrians in that area. Additionally, if folks are interested, the NWMC has also recently done an analysis of its multimodal plans bike corridor study to understand where communities currently have made progress and which communities are towards the greatest amount of it completing their bike priority corridors, and which ones may need additional assistance. So if you are interested in any of that information, we'd be happy to share that with you to further your interest. And like we mentioned earlier, the NWMC includes communities from not just in Northern Cook County, but also Lake and Kane. So if you don't, and DuPage, so if you don't know whether or not your community has one of those priority corridors within it, reach out. We'll be happy to let you know, and I'll drop my contact information in the chat. Eric, was there anything else? No. Okay.
Brian, can you say again, what is NWMC, Northwest something?
Yeah, this is the Northwest Municipal Conference. We are a council of governments, basically a municipal association is the easy way, just trying to find ways to help all the suburbs that our members coordinate a little bit better and collaborate on issues that affect everybody.
Okay, thanks.
Great, thanks, Brian. Yeah, we'll make sure to get the information about Mount Prospect out to everyone. And actually, question about Mount Prospect. I was talking to Mache. I don't know if you know Mache from Mount Prospect, and he mentioned something about a traffic calming policy that the village is working on. I'm curious if you know anything about that. I think at some point he wants to talk to this group about it. What
they recently are, I think the comment period on it has closed already, but they are revising their traffic calming program to be more inclusive of some of the roads and streets within Mount Prospect that are still at a high risk for pedestrians and cyclists to be crossing safely. Previously, their requirements were a little stricter, I think, than what Mount Prospect wants to pursue. So they're broadening it to be able to provide more funding to those neighborhood streets that they want to address these safety concerns on. So yeah, the public comment period on that just ended the other week. January 12th, actually. But they have a page on their website, and I can pop that into the chat as well for folks who might want to know more.
Yeah, no, thanks, Brian. I feel like from time to time, a community will reach out to be like, what kind of traffic calming policies are out there in our region? And just, yeah, I think communities seeing what other communities are doing can be really helpful. And then I saw Ryan in the chat, you were just mentioning, so a COG, Council of Government, are also called a Council of Mayors. There are, I believe, 11 in our region, and just for anyone who doesn't know, and it's a member of municipalities. So every community in our region is part of a COG, and they receive a lot of funding for transportation projects, and then they distribute that funding to local municipalities. So it's great. Some COGs are really thoughtful about making sure communities are investing more in walking and biking and complete streets. So we're always trying to encourage councils of government to do just that. And I know the Northwest Municipal Conference has been a great leader in active transportation. So, okay, let's see. We've got Bob. Hi, Bob.
Hey, so since we've got some planners on the call, I thought I'd offer this question. I'm also on our Traffic and Safety Commission, and it was announced recently that the village was going to receive STP funding for 2 segments of probably our major thoroughfare, which is Ardmore Avenue, and likely to receive funding for a 3rd segment. And the engineer, our village engineer that I talked to, said there would be bike and pedestrian amenities as part of the STP funding, but it was rather vague. And maybe some of the planners on the call can tell me are there certain requirements, or because there's some concerns, is the street wide enough, say, to accommodate a bike lane or not?
Hi, Rob. This is Eric Chernoto with the Northwest Municipal Conference. We distribute a lot of these STP funds. It would be hard for us to really. Sorry, I realized I wasn't close to the microphone. It would be kind of hard for us to actually understand if there is a bike path or not without seeing the full application. So it really depends on what projects had applied and what they had applied for. But essentially, STP funds are Surface Transportation Program funds, and it's probably the most common funding sources for a lot of transportation projects in the region. And bike paths are an STP eligible kind of expense for those. So a lot of STP funded projects do have some sort of bike or pedestrian component attached to them. So if you wanted, you can send over that project and we can reach out and see kind of what the actual application entailed for that project.
Yeah, I think they went through DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference, has some part in releasing those funds or approving those funds.
Yeah, if that's the case, then we could steer you to the planning liaison who's involved with the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference, and they could help answer the question as well.
Yeah, that would be Matt Pasquini, and we could put his email in the chat for you to reach out to him.
Yeah, I think I can find them. I've gone to DMMC events in the past.
Okay.
So the other question I have is, again, for the planners, looking for training for people on traffic and safety commissions. And I've reached out to CMAP, to Metropolitan Planning Council, to the school. I don't know what the name of the school is at Northwestern that deals with traffic studies, and got absolutely no response to my emails. And I'm just wondering if planners know about any kind of training for folks that are on traffic and safety commissions to educate them about, traffic calming methods, etc., just to make people on those commissions better educated.
So those sorts of educational opportunities tend to be one-off opportunities, unfortunately. The COVID, I think, unfortunately, diminished the regular offerings that some organizations put out. So I know we've hosted sort of a committee member training program in the past, but that was also pre-COVID, unfortunately. So being able to, I think maybe the offerings are not yet back, but one thing perhaps besides the Active Transportation Alliance's resources that they shared earlier, that Maggie shared earlier, I would recommend the Bicycle and Pedestrian Information Center. It is a US DOT funded research program through, I think, the University of North Carolina, if my memory serves correctly. And they often have they post webinars, they post lots of training material that can be useful for folks to know about in terms of general safety matters, as well as federal funding opportunities that communities are eligible for.
Yeah. And I have one more question, if that's okay. So I had the same engineer, village engineer, mentioned, what are the requirements for a bike and pedestrian trail? And I mentioned NACDO, and he was puzzled. He'd never heard of NACDO. And I thought that NACDO was kind of the preeminent source for planning for bike and pedestrian infrastructure. Am I not correct about that?
So NACDO is one standard that's out there that's utilized by some agencies for their planning and implementation efforts. More commonly, and especially for engineers, they rely on the Manual for Uniform Traffic Control Devices, MUTCD for short, which I know folks within the advocacy community generally see as a greater barrier sometimes to completion of traffic safety efforts. But the manual actually did just go through a recent update in December, and that now has additional information that that our engineering departments are needing to take into consideration to ensure safer intersections, safer roads and streets within the community, which does include traffic safety or traffic calming efforts, which does include signage efforts, things that generally should help address some of the concerns for pedestrians and cyclists.
Thank you.
Related to your question, Bob, on trainings, Dave, for the bike summit, are there some trainings planned or maybe planned that might be applicable?
Yeah, I mean, for professionals, for sure. We've typically offered that. We had Tim Gustafson, formerly of Epstein. He would come in and discuss some of the NACDO, the things that are maybe more progressive than what can be found in the MUTCD. So we would absolutely plan to offer trainings for planners and engineers once again at next year's event.
Okay. And anyone else know of any resources to point Bob to before I?
Hey, Bob, Patrick Smith. I used to be on the board for Ride Illinois. I wasn't on a planning, sounds like the type of commission or committee that you're on, but I was on the Bike and Pedestrian Committee in my local community. And what I found was upskilling by diving into Active Trans resources, by diving into Ride Illinois resources, by going to other places and pages. You also are going to find some help on social media too, as not fun as it might be. I'm no longer using Twitter, But you could go to Twitter and just start connecting with people. And in fact, I found this to be tremendously educational for me as a growing advocate about a decade ago. I was on Twitter and made connections around the world with people who are doing the same stuff that we're doing, just in different places. I learned a lot. I learned so much just from making those connections with those people who could share their knowledge and experience with me, but also from the resources that they would call out. The Bike Summit is months away. It's not even this year. So that's a longer term solution for you in the courses that are offered there. I think that just connecting with other advocates, people who care about this stuff and share their knowledge and experience, is the best way that I learned. Some of them were active transportation and Ride Illinois. Many of them were outside of Illinois, though, on social media.
Great. Thanks, Patrick. And Ryan in the chat says, check out the American Trails webinars, and also said that Epstein consulting firm is happy to host training sessions for your community board. Just feel free to connect with Ryan, Bob, about this, as well as it looks like contact Elliot as well from Highland Park. So hopefully that'll give you some paths to follow and some resources. All right, Luke, I see your hands up?
Yeah, I work at the Village of Mount Prospect, so I just want to expound on a couple of things of on our initiative. So as mentioned, we have our arterial bike network study coming up. That open house is Wednesday. The website is live now, and then starting that Wednesday, we're going to have an interactive GIS map on the website to input comments, preferred bike routes, things like that. So anyone who's interested to check things out and can't attend the open house, everything will be published online too, and we'll be able to collect comments that way. And then for our traffic calming program, that was just approved by our Transportation Safety Commission this week. And that'll go before the board for adoption in the future. We don't have a date scheduled for that yet. So once the board adopts that, then we'll be able to start going after some of these projects. One of the major changes that was mentioned is instead of just focusing on vehicles and reducing vehicle speeds, we're going to be proactively including bike and pedestrian infrastructure when we look at these traffic calming projects, so that we can make the roads safer for people walking and biking as well, along with reducing vehicle speed. So yeah, we're excited about both those initiatives going forward, and I just want to make everyone aware of those. That's all.
Great. Thanks, Luke. And yeah, looking forward to hearing updates about how that program goes. Terry, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, I just like to put in a plug for these committees we're hearing about being formed through Active Trans and Ride Illinois as maybe a great source to answer a lot of these questions that come up in our lives once a month, but actually digging into these problems with the rest of us to try to figure out what to do. Hey, and my other plug is up in Lake County. They still haven't decided what to do with the Illinois 53 right-of-way that is no longer going to be a road, but it's a perfect trail, actually, because it can go south, meet up with the East Branch, keep going down to Joliet, the Trans-America Trail, get on Route 66, and we can all ride to Springfield rather than drive. So anyway, hey, have fun, enjoy the ride, and share your pictures. Come on. Let's do it. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. You always bring inspiration to the meetings. All right, Steve.
I just figured out that raising my hand is a button, not doing this.
Oh, sorry.
I'll get the Zoom thing figured out yet. I wanted to just mention, if other people are involved in DuPage County don't realize, a couple months ago, Chris Snyder, the superintendent of highways and director of transportation, that was a nice domination of the county transportation department, he retired. And last week, the trails coordinator also went on to something else. So in DuPage County, that's I'll try to look at it as a positive, but that really does put a pause on a lot of activities, and we'll see where that goes. So we need to be aware of that. I'd also like to pitch, never wanted to shy away from controversy. I have a piece of campaign literature here from someone running for office, and their first priorities listed on this are completing the East Branch DuPage River Trail. Their second priority is ensuring hiking trails and bike paths throughout DuPage are well-maintained, safe, and accessible. I want every candidate, I don't care what party you're running for, to have that on your literature. Our biggest problem isn't people sitting on the fence or on the wrong side. They don't even know the fence is there. So we need, it's an election year. We hear, someone mentioned earlier that in election years, things slow down. They do, and darn it, every other year is an election year. We're always told to be good constituents and wait. But we need candidates out supporting our efforts, which everyone can support, but they need to make them a priority. So I want to see this. I want to see all the candidates agreeing that no matter who's elected, they need to support trails and bicycling. So get out there and do your part. And it's your local officials that make this happen.
Great, thanks, Steve. That is a really good advocacy tip to like during this season when people are campaigning. This is when they're open to listening, and this is a great opportunity to be like, hey, like
they are open to listening at this point. They are happy to hear you. They'll want to talk about when people knock on your door. They'll want to talk about national issues and such. As I'd like to say, the Park District isn't going to be doing a whole lot with national issues, but we do have this bike trail that we'd like you to advocate for us. We need champions on every city and county board.
Yes, and I know, I feel like Oak Park is really a great example of advocates doing a lot of election advocacy there. And over the years, like there's a lot of supporters for walking and biking on the Oak Park various boards and committees, and it seems like they're making a lot of progress lately. So it really can make a difference. It can take some time to build up the right group of people, but it's possible with advocacy to kind of push things in the right direction.
It is, and I'd add, if you start to get choose winners and losers, you can wind up a loser. But if we advocate for everyone involved, both sides of the fence, we have primaries coming up right now. All the candidates really should be on board. And if not, darn it, make them tell us why.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Steve. An important message to get across. All right, anything else anyone wanted to share? Any other questions? Any other resources people have? All right. Well,
sorry, I couldn't find the raise hand, but
yes.
sorry. Hey everybody. So we are starting the McHenry County Safety Action Plan very soon, and all the counties in the Chicagoland region are also doing a safety action plan too. So it's focusing on vulnerable roadway users. So if you know of anyone in McHenry County or want to kind of just provide input, I can also steer you in the direction of the team that's working on your county as well. So I just wanted to put that plug in.
Thank you, Ryan. That's something I've been meaning to try to find out more about. So do you know, have all of the counties, are they all getting started at the same time, essentially?
All the counties will be starting in the next 2 to 3 weeks. All the consulting teams have been picked, and so it's kind of a joint effort between CMAP, the consulting teams, and the county DOTs. So yeah, it'll be a big effort, obviously with all of them starting at the same time, but obviously very impactful work.
Yeah, and I know that you'll be looking to just get a lot of community engagement and input. So I think like everyone here, like I think people here, you're already like you're leaders in this area, and so I think you're your input will be really valuable and spreading it around to people you know. As well. So Ryan, maybe I can, if you have the details about some of the other counties, I can email you and maybe then I can share it with everyone.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, super. All right. Oh, Agatha.
Last announcement, not connected with the safety. We have a couple other folks working on the safety topics at CMAP. I work on the bikeways data. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware about the new IDAT system, which is live. It's an online mapping tool where anyone can update, enter, or modify segments which represents existing or planned, programmed, and so on bikeways in the whole state. The idea is that IDAT built it, but they want to pass the ownership and responsibility to update the information for local people. As you guys know, the best is the status of those segments. So what we as CMAP are doing, we are kind of testing that system out with the only bikeway data we own, which is regional greenways and trails plan data. And we are also thinking about ways we could encourage and support locals to use that system so it's the most up-to-date as possible for our own all good, as the data really helps. Accurate data really helps to plan in a context, to see what's going on in the neighbors, or if you need to take a look at the larger scale, like county or sub-region. Anyways, my point is just to remind and announce, if you are not aware about the tool, that this is available for anyone to use. You don't need any special logins. So I can share the link in a chat, and I will reach out to you, Maggie, and maybe we can talk how more or better we could support and encourage people to use it.
Yeah,
As
for
we
sure.
will be better equipped to know like how it actually works, what's the most efficient workflow as we go on with our own data. But we are happy to help.
Yeah, no, let's connect. Tom Lucas was wondering, I guess they were trying to access it, but couldn't.
Yeah, I had sat in on the original call about that and had great interest. I got data from my park district president, who owns a couple of segments, and he passed it on to me. He's actually one of my fellow riders. And I tried to get access. I asked for access, and nobody ever got back to me. And the data that I had available to me is there's a bikeway that's 1.2 miles long in Palatine. That could be anywhere. Could be a path, could be a street, could be a shot to the moon. I have no idea. We're willing to update it, but without access, we can't help you with that.
I believe access is going to be limited to municipalities. It's not open up, at least when the meetings we attended, not necessarily open to individuals. So I think, Tom, you probably want to go through the village to have them.
Yeah, and unfortunately, right now the village is kind of lacking in a decent bicycle advocate. The guy that we had retired, and I haven't seen anybody new come up in Palatine that really cares about a bicycling infrastructure. So I'll see if I could. I do know the village manager there. I might be able to reach out to him and see who I can get in contact with. I know that, like I said, it was sent to Greg Salmons, who's the president of the Palatine Park District Board, which he kind of looked at it and went, I don't know. Tom probably has a better idea. And that's where it got dropped.
Huh, interesting. Yeah, I wonder if IDOT would give you guys special permission to help update it.
One would think if they want accurate data and somebody's willing to provide it, what a silly idea.
There is a contact email on that website, so maybe it would be a good idea to reach to them and ask what is their plan for organization affiliated or the group or advocacy group or a bike group who is equipped with the knowledge but not working directly for the municipality, or if there is any process for that to allow you to access it and work with that.
Got it. I'll reach out to them and see what comes out of it.
Great. All right. Well, thank you all so much. It was good to see you all. It's our first meeting of 2024, so Happy New Year. But yeah, good to see you. I'll follow up probably tomorrow with links that were discussed today, and feel free to contact me anytime, of course, and we'll see you again in April. So good to see you, and hope you have a good rest of the week.
Thank you, Maggie.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Maggie. Thanks, everybody.